could be illegal, meeting you once more. Feeling so good could be against the law. This is a small portion of my FBI file that is quite amusing to me. Barbara Jean Menendez, née Barbara Jean Spillman, a.k.a. Mrs. Ralph Kahn, Mrs. Byron Menendez, Barbara Brookfield Spillman, Barbara Dane, all these variations. My maiden name, my married name, that other married name, as if there was some mysterious thing going on there. Menendez has, in the past, been described as a freelance entertainer, as an itinerant jazz vocalist.
Oh, there ain't nobody got the blues like me. And if you can't help me, why don't you let me be? Pack up all my cares and woes, 'cause here I go and I'm singing low. Bye, 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 oh blackbird.
I had a great beginning in my life, because when I was a little kid, I grew up in these wide open fields in Detroit. I had it in my head what I wanted to do. I had my agenda. And so that's followed me all my life, this idea of a woman, especially a female, having her own agenda and insisting on it at all times.
I was carrying a guitar around and singing everything I could get my hands on. I always had a very open-minded approach to music, because to me it's all one thing, you know. It isn't contained within little boxes.
Thy gown was of the grassy green.
This is something that's unique to Barbara. I can't think of anybody else who's recording for Folkways and Capitol. You know, the label of Woody Guthrie and of Frank Sinatra. Barbara walks into each world and she inhabits it.
Trouble in mind and blue. I won't be blue always.
At the beginning, I did have some trepidation about, should I be singing all this black culture?
My door someday.
In the broad public space of Black America, that seemed to have been recognized as you being the first quote-unquote white person to be featured in Ebony magazine,
Yeah.
which was a reflection that across the ideological spectrum of Black America, they recognize themselves in your voice. I think that is that's a profound contribution to not only the arts but to humanity.
Well, thank you, James. Wow.
Oh, the dry land changed the sea, it'll never make any change in me. I've got that old-fashioned love in my heart.
Next thing you know, I get an offer from him to go to Europe on his next tour. Now, he's Ambassador Sash, remember? I'm all ready to go, and of course, it's the biggest thing that could have happened in my life or my imagination. As it got closer and closer and time to go, Joe Glazer, the manager, is not answering my phone calls, and they're not sending any information, and it's becoming clear that I ain't going to be on this trip. It just faded away. It didn't occur to me the real reason until decades later. A program came out on PBS that portrayed a piece of Louis that most people hadn't known about. Because a lot of people in those days were painting him as a sort of Uncle Tom, right? But there was a point when Louis really couldn't take it anymore, and he called the president out in the press. Eisenhower, if you want that girl to get into the high school, never mind sending the troops, you go down and walk her in there. Otherwise, you're just a coward yourself. Causing havoc, you know. And Joe Glazer, his manager, was terribly upset because this was his big payday, you know. It was Louis all the time. So I'm sure that somebody at the State Department went to looking up what my history was and knew that I was a big mouth on the race question. Put two and two together. Okay, Louis is going to be in Europe with his latest discovery, a blue-eyed blonde who sings the blues. They're going to all want to interview me, everybody. What am I going to say? there goes my big moment in blues history or whatever, you know.
I'm going to the river, sit down on the log. Going down to the river, sit down on the log. If I can't be your woman, ain't going to be your dog.
I've been used to it by that time, you know. Remake yourself, to roll with the punches, go on. You know, would have been great, but it's not going to happen, so what's next?
When the union's inspiration through the workers' blood shall run, there can be no power greater anywhere beneath the sun.
Am I a troublemaker? I made them a lot of trouble. These people went to a lot of trouble. I mean, and what was I doing? I was simply living my life, you know, and doing what a normal person would do if they could find the time and the energy, which would be to look at the world and see what needs fixing and get out there and try to work on that. Somehow, big, big trouble.
We shall not, we shall not be moved.
Did you know that those were made specially for Barbara so that she could raise money to go to the Freedom Summer caravan of artists and musicians that went down to Mississippi?
No, I'm going to write that on there
in 1964 for voter registration, and yeah.
The water.
I'd never seen this one before.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, this one is when
Pablo.
she and Pablo went to the Philippines to sing at anti-war GI coffee houses, and it was part of the GI movement.
I was doing a clandestine tour, actually, with my son Pablo, and my point was to make a bridge. Again, a cultural bridge was all I've ever been about. Big cultural bridge.
Hell no, we won't go, and we just ain't gonna go. It takes a real man to say no. It takes a real man to say, I won't go. It takes a real man to say no.
She was the first important American artist who came to Cuba, I think, after the revolution. Everybody knew her name.
Pero por culpa de Cuba, ella perdió muchas cosas de su carrera artística. Eso sí fue por su solidaridad y su apoyo a los artistas cubanos, a Cuba y a la Revolución Cubana.
Nobody knows you when you're down and out.
If you have ethics and you don't want to sell your music, but still you have to make a living, and it's a kind of a tightrope walk, you know. This whole process of how you keep your soul.
No, we'll never.
I just thought, well, why would I want to stand up in front of a bunch of people singing something that I don't even care about the words to, shaking them maracas, you know, wearing a loca dress, when I could be out here changing the world with these other people.
Come by here, come by here, my Lord, come by here, come by here, my Lord, come by here, oh Lord, come by here.
The first time we ever sang together was in 1961 at the Ash Grove.
We were there for 3 weeks, and at the end of that engagement, Barbara said, I have a East Coast tour. I'm going to New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia, and a bunch of places on the East Coast. Yeah, and she says, if I take you with me, will you go? And we said, yeah, yes. Can you believe that? This lady took all 4 of us with her on her tour. She paid our way, paid our hotel, gave us food, and just treated us like we were kings.
That lady right there.
There was no stopping you guys. I knew that as soon as the world took a peek at what they got, that would be it. Together we shall move mountains.
Oh yeah.
Alone we can't move at all. For together we can move mountains. Alone we can't move at all.
Sleeping in the rain. You can see his pain. And he's hungry. You can see it in his eyes. We can build a floor with its own front door.
Yes, we can.
Get together, lend a hand, and organize.
Yeah.
Come on! Come on! Come on!
Oh, together we can move mountains. Alone we can't move at all.
Everybody sing the song.
Together we can move mountains.
Record companies and things like that said, no, this woman is too rebellious and too hard to handle and will not be bought and sold, so, you know, we're just gonna erase her from history. And well, no, you know, here she is, at age 9, is still making history.
Alone we can't move at all. Yeah. Everybody say yeah. Yeah.